Alright guys, Fitz back here for Group G of the Shimmy Rush Week number 1 here. So spawn here in the top right is sushiknight, or also known as, let me pull this up here, NI.PK or Renzi on the Team Liquid. I found this guy, I just did a little couple research, just some preliminary stuff. He was apparently in C-Rank Team League, but I'm not believe they've ever done a Season 2 of the thing. So anyway, and his opponent will be to the shame of BMW being on vacation, not being able to join us today. It will be his a member from his clan here. It will be the White Terran International Federation of Untouchables Cryoc here. So too bad for him. But yeah, so a little background information on Cryoc here is that he won his show match between I forget who it was. Wordum, like a B Terran, I think. So that's nice for him, and that's probably the most recent stuff I can probably pull from both these players here. Now, in terms of skill right here, sushiknight is a C+ Protoss, at least at the time of February 2012, and it looks like we're gonna see sushiknight be getting a gas steal right here in Cryoc. Let me slash stats the guy. IFU Cryoc. He's B-. So I mean, these players are probably about dead even in terms of skill-wise here, and it will allow the simulator to go up here. Now, what it may just be a 2-gate coming from for sushiknight here. Because of this, you could often install like any kind of factory play and stuff like that. But I mean, he really wants his Cryoc really wants to get that simulator down. Now, I believe 5 is the actual number that you're supposedly supposed to pull here, because it's always been 5 when someone actually really wants that gas. So maybe that's the magic number. I don't know, and we'll see. So actually, this isn't really going to be follow-up to really much anything. It might be like a 1-gate expand and then anything else. He may push really like a zealot. But overall, I mean, I'm just not really quite sure what the gas steal was intended for. But hey, it does throw off Cryoc maybe a little bit here, so I'll be interested. Now let me slash that sushiknight here. Now again, sushiknight might be a little, because this person has 2 active accounts, or what I understand of it. Sushiknight. D. And again, don't read into that. I think that's just more of what we would expect from an inactive player, at least on this account. If I also go down to, let me do slash stats on the other account here. Just gotta pull it up for half a second here. Slash stats, ni.pk. C-. So there you go. So it's still C-. That's NI's PK's actual more active account, and I apologize for full screening that by accident. All right, anyway, there goes down the Cybercore. I think it's a little bit more delayed because of the gas steal, and it's something that I've never been able to fully understand. Is if the gas steal is there, that's 100 minerals that's delaying your tech anyway. So does it even play out? Does it even matter? You know, because I mean, either way, you're just inevitably pushing on 100 minerals of your tech back, and 100 minerals of pretty much of what the Terran's tech is going to be. So I mean, I don't really know, but I mean, if you're going to go for a 2-gate, then it would make sense. But since he's just doing like a 1-gate expand, I'm really not quite sure the whole purpose behind it was. But I mean, again, it did stall for Cryoc here, so I mean, it's well played by sushiknight anyway. So I like to see that kind of a play right there. Anyway, going about here, he's trying to set up a contain here. What it looks like, he has been rallying a lot of units over there, and it's very well. We should be going for an expand like after that goon pops, because or shifts in. Nope. All right, so it's going to be doing a 2-gate. Like a 2-gate pressure, so it's doing a very standard build here. That's a lot of Rhines, though. That's more than normal. You normally get 6 at most, so this is the first time I'm ever seeing 7 in a push. And that might also be the fact that we're also seeing because we saw the gas steal as well. But what that means, I mean, this means it's pushed a lot more powerful. If there was stuff, I mean, look at this. It was proper. Would you get a lot of Rhines out? They actually do hold their own against zealots, which again, sometimes if you can completely catch your opponent off guard, there is that bio option. If your bio control is really phenomenal and you can you know, hide it to the point where Protoss thinks they're dealing with something else, you can actually do a good amount of damage. I mean, bio's not terrible. I mean, in the early gateway units. I mean, when you get higher attack, I mean, with Robotech coming out, with eventually Robotech coming out, and stuff like that, you know, Reavers can come out, High Templar with Storm. There's really no way to Storm dodge with Marine. So, but that's the whole reason, probably the reason for the whole amount of Marines out there. So sushiknight would have to be a little bit careful because of that, and that's probably the whole reason why he got 2 Zealots out. But again, they did die pretty quickly. So it might just be a 2-gate Robo build, but he's really high in the gas, and I said no, there goes down the Expo. Okay, so it's just gonna be a 2-gate expand. Totally fine, totally good. Probably throw down a Robo now as well. That'd probably be for Ops Tech, if anything. Now, this, you know, I'm honestly just wondering if I could say there would even be a potential for Reaver drops. Because the Robotech does open up more options, but I'll wait to see, because I don't want to judge anything that I really don't know much about, and this is something that I really don't know if he's really going to have that kind of, if that's going to be the build order that he's going to be going through, because I really honestly don't know what the follow-up is. I believe it's just going to be OBS, but support rate could probably be followed if you'd like to. Alright, so we're getting into the second factory for Cryoc here, so getting a lot of tanks here, so it's definitely looking up like Cryoc's definitely going to want for a more macro-style game here, which is understandable, and especially for a defensive position here, because Bloody Ridge, of what I understand from a lot of players, is that this is a more Protoss favorite map. And because of that, Terran might be going to this, be like, alright, I need to play a lot more defensive, which might be reading this. Now, this is like high C, low B ranking, so I'm not normally used to this kind of play, so everything I'm seeing right now is kind of new to me, so I'm doing my best, but it was actually kind of funny, because I was talking to Hacklebeast the other day, and I did a co-cast with him the one time, and it just didn't go super well. In terms of like fluidness, in my opinion, it just kind of like separate opinions. But he was saying like, well, that's kind of more or less because he does a lot more high ranking tours, and I do a lot more D rank stuff. So D, C rank, that kind of stuff. So not to say that that's bad. Both types need coverage, but that's definitely for sure. I don't really cast a lot of those higher level terms. But of course, there's ICOPS Clan League, which is anywhere from E to A+, or Olympic, anyway. But, yeah, so I'm doing my best to figure it out, but it looks like he's just going to go up to 4 gates here, and I saw he's getting +1 on his Stargate. Now, I have absolutely no idea. You know, what could be an option, it can definitely work. I've seen it on maps more with, God's Garden, where you get, like, it's really difficult to actually take out the natural, because it's like the natural's like inside your base. So we might see some carriers, because you do have you can do 2 base carriers. And he's only have a Stargate, so he's definitely going to be committing something. Yes, it looks like it will be a 2 basing carrier all in right here. This map for it, let me just look at this map here for carrier micro here. Definitely speaking, this is definitely a map that, at least till the center of the map, it's going to be difficult to get carriers around here. Definitely the center location can definitely work. High ground might work as well, but definitely, you know, really utilizing the cliffs here all around the natural, because there are so many cliffs here, and it can make it very difficult for carriers. So this is actually not a bad build order that he's going for. He's going to be reclaiming a 3rd base here, so I've only seen this build really off of 2 scenarios here. 1 of being an island tour, and 2, I've seen that again on a couple matches on Garden with carriers. So again, what I'm seeing here is completely new, and 2 bases you can get carriers with upgrades, I believe. And with that 3rd, he may be able to even get double upgrades going, possibly, and probably be able to still make units out of the gates. But he's not doing that right now. I don't think he is, actually. No, he's not. So he's really wanting to pump up the carriers here. And this early on, I don't know, because there's not gonna be, Goliath out. Goliath can be an option because he already has attack. He already has the armory out available to himself. So I feel like carriers come down to one of two things here. Both, actually. One, what is the reaction to find out? When does Terran find out that you're going carriers? And two, which in turn allows them to get more than enough time. How much time do they have to get Goliath out? If carriers all of a sudden just make it to your base, you're kind of screwed. Carriers are good, but again, this map is so cliff friendly. It can be pretty good for microing, at least I think, because this high ground should be enough to stack up carriers. I want to say. But anyway, so that being said, we'll have to find out. And the other thing is, what kind of carrier micro do we obtain from sushiknight here? I mean, he's a C+ Protoss. I mean, I have to admit being a C+ is a high level player. I mean, that's what Elegant was versus game here, and Elegant put up a good fight against game here. I mean, a lot of people might have been able to predict who would have won, but I mean, hey, he tried, he did his best, and I think that was a pretty good series. But that being said, I mean, C+ players are still something to be reckoned with. I mean, B- is only one tier higher than C+. So. But then again, I don't know if Cryoc is specifically PvT oriented, because he did beat Wordum, who was a fellow B- player. But I guess the benefit to that show match, though, is that they may have known each other's playstyles. But then again, sometimes clans, I think IFU has like 30 players in it, so they may not always play each other. So, anyway, so it looks like we have a 4th base going up right now, and again, he's still going carriers, so I would have thought he would have just stopped at 2 bases here, so he's actually just going to be massing these things instead of kind of going for like a joint attack. So I would have thought he would probably push for the gateway units and then, had carriers just back up and then to allow themselves to get across the map quicker. That's what I would have anticipated here. And we have a Vulture run by. Or, well, I think it's the best thing close to a Vulture run by that's on a not completed base, but definitely this bottom right hand expansion might be a little bit more difficult to take. I'm just looking at these main bases. They're kind of small. Like the factories are just like not perfect. Like this base is definitely not as big as what say Fighting Spirit. So we have Emp coming out. Now that is just more of a reaction thing to Arbiter. So I have to guess, because of what Cryoc is going, I think he's just anticipating a regular army, a regular Protoss versus Terran. A very standard textbook style. And Emp, though, is a very, very, very powerful tool. It's not as good as Plague on carriers, but it does take out a good third of their HP. Now, again, it does come down to the micro, but, I mean, if you start killing out like a third of carriers, and maybe you're asking yourself, oh, maybe the Emp's not going to hit everything. Well, it will, because the carriers are going to stack. I mean, that's how you use carriers. You're going to exploit the cliff as much as you can. If you're not going to air stack them, there's really no point to even try to go carriers, because, well, they're just going to be floating all over the cliff there, and they're just going to get sniped off. So that's why you air stack, and that's what a lot of air units will do. I'm just trying to think of a unit. I guess Arbiters are like the only one unit that you really wouldn't, air stack well. I mean, even an Emp on this would probably hit all 4 of them. And carriers will only not, and these are just on like a move command right now. I mean, if he's actually microing these things up to a full extent, they're gonna look like there's just one, or one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another here. So these carriers, though, are gonna be an interesting force to deal with here. A lot of Spider-Mans are here. Does he see them though through that Spider-Man though? That is kind of my question. No, he doesn't. Okay, so I'm not quite sure if he knows about. We had a Vulture run by, man. I did not see that. God, sorry about that, but yeah, he doesn't see the carriers. So I'm a little so preoccupied with carriers because it's the first time I'm seeing it. I'm just trying to explain what my thought process is and make myself not, so I don't sound like an idiot when the engagement happens or whoever wins this game. Because again, to me, this could be anyone's game, but I think Cryoc may have a slightly like edge because he beat Wordum, who is a B- player. Now again, I believe that is because on the OP, it actually didn't actually specify who won, but I believe Wordum did lose according to BMW when I'm talking to him. Okay, but now he definitely knows that carriers are coming out, or cars of what BMW would say, and he's just gonna do his best here. He's just gonna try to clean up some stuff right here, so that's good stuff right there. And again, very exploitable. These clips are very exploitable here, and these he's going to be able to try to kill off that science facility right here, which will give free reign over the carriers right here. Now, at the same time, we're going to have just a huge mech army right here, 2-1, compared to the 162 of Sushiknight here. But Sushiknight, remember, though, isn't going to really have an army to stack up against this. Yes, this army is completely, and I mean completely vulnerable to carriers. But if this timing allows for Goliath to get out, but it doesn't look like the Goliath are coming out to help out this main army here. But I don't know if Sushiknight can hold here. I'm not sure if carriers are going to be the better base trading units here to really kill off like a whole base of Terran. Not to mention they can lift off and go every which way if they like to. But I mean, he's killed off the natural. I mean, he's going to kill off the main base. Remember, that's where all the carrier tech is. So I mean, once these 3 or 4 carriers inside the base or whatever, when he finally gets in there, things are not looking great for him. But Sushiknight is holding up his own. He's killing off a lot of tanks right here, which is going to be enough to hopefully allow for the goons to help out with this base trade scenario. I mean, this is a very interesting game, guys. I mean, that's the least I could probably say, with carriers being in the mix of a Protest versus Terran, man. And this is the thing, though. Cryoc was just completely not... I just don't think he was... I think he was completely caught off guard, because now we're talking about a ton of Goliath coming out right now. Now, this is a good amount of Goliath. Not to mention that they probably have their upgrade done, which they do. But here's the cliff hanging, though. So he's going to have to burn off scans here, and he's just lost the scanning opportunity. He now only has available to 8 scans. 38 pros have been killed off, but I don't think it's really that important because, I mean, again, like I told you guys earlier, we're just having a base trade. But actually, these defensive carriers have actually fended off the main base, so he's still alive here, guys. Keep in mind here, he's still getting his upgrades going. And, I mean, it's hard to say who's actually winning. I mean, look, I'm looking at the brown on the map here, and there is definitely a lot more white here, but how much AA is there? To be completely honest right here, and the carriers are not being over the cliff right here, and things are, I'm not quite sure if this carrier can hold on for too long. Going to that main base, that little cliff might just be a little too small for them. He's going to try to do his best of cliff dodging. So far, it's been pretty good. He's just doing his best to really kill off the Goliath and stuff like that, but they still have incredible range, guys, and it's... I mean, I'm looking at the carriers. Let me look at these things right here. There are 9 carriers. Amp does go down, guys. That means, oh, these carriers are taking a lot of fire from those Goliaths right here, and I think Sushiknight might have just, won't have enough here. This map, like I said, it can deal great damage to the natural and the main base up to the side, which he was doing great with, but right when you go move into the main base or go into the third here, it just makes it very difficult here, because remember, this is a cliff, but he's gonna have, vision of it. If he never took a third base, this would look a lot different here. But the carriers are gonna, just kind of try to regroup here, see what he can really accomplish with. But remember also that carriers require 25 minerals per interceptor. That's why there's such late game units. That's why you don't normally rush to them like this. But he's still trying to make it work. He's just reaping to the natural. He's gonna have to play defensive with these, and it's gonna give more than enough opportunity for Cryoc to probably just take a game, take this game. He's gonna be double expanding here. He can probably triple expand if he'd like to. He could probably expand to the entire map at this point. Sushiknight's options are to defend or attack here, and the problem with kind of both is that the natural isn't going to be very easy to defend with, in my opinion. I mean, there is this one little ridge here, but a scan and just the amount of Goliath that are out now is going to make it very difficult. But we'll see. We'll totally see here. And also remember, that cliff, though, could get a lot of Goliath can get like a surface area around that, too. So this map isn't as perfect for... but this is really, really nice, though. This is how you carry your micro. But like I said earlier, though, I mean, look at the mineral income. He's losing the interceptors, and I'm looking at a lot of these. They're not full on 8. And that's probably the whole reason why he GG'd, other than the fact that there's a white blob going in the natural expansion right now. So it was a very interesting game. I like it. And almost caught Cryoc off guard here. I think just the positioning with carriers going into the natural is completely very, very carrier friendly to attack with. But getting past that, the only other really space I could really see them working is where he was before, but it's kind of caught out of the way, and because it's not symmetrical, I guess you could attack a potential 4th or 5th base for Terran, but that never happened, so whatever. A great game though. I love carriers. Love to see them. So a very unique play by sushiknight here. We'll go on to our next game, guys. Thanks for watching again, and peace. And Fitz will be back momentarily for another cast. Peace, guys.